Teen girls, we need to have a talk. A very hard but necessary talk. You are being led astray. Hard. And it's by women who are jealous of you because you've got the chance to not make the same mistakes they did and join them in their misery. Misery loves company. And that's why these bitter women are telling you to follow in their footsteps. But I'm going to try to stop as many of you as possible. So why should you listen to me? Well, I'm much older and wiser, but mostly because I have the kind of life that you want. Remember, never take advice from someone who isn't where you'd like to be, and always give heed to the words of those who are. I am married to a high-value man who worships me and lives for his children, who is anti-pornography, and I don't think it's ever occurred to him that he could cheat on me. I have financial security and can really fill my days with whatever I'd like to do. I choose to focus on my children and home and make videos trying to help others. I am not oppressed by anyone, except, the government. I have the fairy tale ending, and I want you to have it too. This is how I'm pushing back against the current mass depression of our age. So I have the kind of life that you want. Whether there are variations of places or tastes, the core desires are still the same. And now, I'm going to tell you how to get it for yourself. What follows are a list of things that will help ensure that you end up with your happily ever after. They are very different from what you've heard presented to you before. But you might notice that those things don't seem to be working out for those other women. So you might as well listen to me. Please note, this is a secular list that touches down on the basics. First, do not buy the moronic line that 20s are for fun and 30s are for settling down. No, that doesn't work. Just take a look at all the single women in their 30s who just want to find a good man and settle down, or who settled for a man because they were getting up there in age. No, your 20s are for setting up your life. Whether looking for a life partner, starting a business, getting an education, whatever. You are an adult in your 20s. Behave accordingly. Set yourself up for success. The line, the 20s are for living it up, 30s are for settling down, is one of the biggest hoaxes fed to my generation of women. They lied to us. The only reason I'm where I'm at is because I rejected the stupid urgings culture tried to push on as many of us as possible. And you might hear the horror stories of a few women who settled down in their 20s and they now have bitter regret. They didn't do it right. Never let a naysayer's laments be what guide you. Second, do not have sex before marriage. Protect your virginity like it's the most precious thing you have, because in the dating world, it is. You will land a quality man if you safeguard your modesty and chastity. That's just the honest truth. Quality men who do not chase skirts, who are capable of loving you how you want to be loved, will also value chastity and modesty. Yours and his. That's not saying you must be a prude. Although prudence is highly valuable to one's life, helping to pave it well and saving much angst. Sex is not a pastime. It is not owed to anyone but he who commits himself entirely to you. Sex can also be very dangerous, landing you with a child outside of wedlock whom you cannot provide a secure home for, oftentimes because the young fellow who sleeps with women easily isn't exactly father material. You can also incur sexually transmitted diseases. Honestly, it's just not worth the risk, and you lose far more advantage than you gain. I understand that this is shocking to hear, because you're being taught that your sensuality is power and to lord it over others to get what you want. But most women are going about it the wrong way. Sensuality is power, but it ought to be used to command respect, not shallow lust where you're tossed to the side after a 5-second orgasm, and certainly when the time arises when there are younger, more attractive women who hit the scene. No, darlings, women are goddesses. We are the far lovelier sex. So act like a lovely goddess, worthy of admiration, worthy of being chaste and worshipped. Only the wise and prudent are worthy of respect. Your power in the dating arena would be immense if you were the only girl in the room with their modesty and chastity intact. At that point, when you choose to settle down, you could get almost any guy you want. It's that powerful. Do not squander power. Third, do not trust the government or big media. Both hate you and want you sick and sterile. They want you miserable emotionally, physically, and mentally, so you keep paying into the sick care system. They absolutely do not want you to have children, which I have several other videos addressing. So they seek out to divide men and women by making them hate one another, get women on hormone-disrupting birth control to ruin her fertility and her general well-being, and push population control propaganda. They don't want you to sit and look into a small human's eyes who looks back up at you with pure love. They don't want you to feel that kind of pure joy, because that might spark happiness and sacrificial desire in you. And you must stay a miserable drone, not making or raising any little freedom fighters to push back against them. Certainly not finding any sort of life fulfillment. So you stay climbing the career ladder to be a wage slave and pay taxes like the good little peasant you are. This is also why you should never date a man who trusts what the government and the media wants you to think. Which brings me to number 4. Read. Read everything that you can. Study a wide array of things, but more importantly, read from all sides, not just the side that you agree with that makes you grow in malice for those whom disagree with you. You are wrong about a lot of things. Humbly accept that, because it's the first step on your journey to enlightenment. Dumb people are miserable. They're angry and they tend to be violent. But dumb people keep themselves dumb. And in our age of information at our fingertips, there's no excuse to squander our ability to study. Hold on, I gotta turn the light on. Okay, it's better. 5th, don't think that just because you're young, you can punish your body. It all catches up to you. If you don't want your future to be burdened with physical calamities, which are happening at a younger and younger age now, with everyone and their sister having an autoimmune disorder, then you must study the human body and nutrition and eat accordingly. For the most part, processed foods are bad foods. If you take nothing else from this, please at least take that. That is a whole rabbit hole that you should go down. Once again, our government is poisoning us. The FDA is garbage, and Americans are unhealthier now than we've ever been. Heed this from someone who is 33 and navigates her life with several health issues, despite believing that I was being healthy in my younger years. Study your body and what it needs. We're getting sicker, younger and younger. By 26, I was too sick to work. It's a good thing I didn't dig myself into debt and become a wage slave, so I had to dig myself out. Next, I'm not going to tell you the list of things that you ought to look for in a partner, because that's a whole other video, which I'll make if there's interest. I will, however, give you a very simple hot tip. Do not date a guy who is pro-abortion. The only reason most guys are pro-abortion is because they want to be boys. They want your body without the responsibility to love you. They cannot love you. They do not respect you, nor are they capable of being good fathers later on. They will want to pressure you into an abortion. And post-abortion syndrome it's really no fun at all. I've held countless women going through it. Just steer clear of men who do not respect womanhood or the power of a woman's body. My young loves, do not fall for them. There is no happily ever after there. You are free to open up the mind of any man you meet and make him aware, but do not try to change him. That is a path to misery. Which brings me to my next point. 7, be happy. I know it's easier said than done, especially in your generation where it's very hip to be oppressed and have some kind of mental illness. Honestly, it's very difficult for you to be happy. And it's worse for the children coming up behind you. You likely had a lot of privacy stolen away from you. And it's very unlikely you have any trustworthy adult in your life. Your mind and body haven't been safeguarded because you, quite frankly, have been exposed to trash nonstop, whether through constant stimulation, chemicals, pollutants, bad food, over-emotionalism, whatever. Let's face it, you've been handed a raw deal. Seek out information and good quality role models. They will pull you through this. In a world full of Kardashians, be an Audrey Hepburn. Happy girls are the prettiest. That's an Audrey Hepburn quote. Lastly, and this might be the hardest, fight back against the desire to be liked by the crowd. The crowd is usually wrong. The crowd isn't the one looking back at you in the mirror at the end of the day. The crowd isn't waking up by your side every morning or keeping you warm at night. Screw the crowd. Well, obviously not literally, because that would negate my virginity thing, but you get what I'm saying. The point is, the popular opinion is usually held by those who are easily swayed and over-emotional, and they rarely are anything more than NPCs. If it's generally popular, question it, and understand that most will hate you for questioning it. But they're also pretty dumb and miserable. You don't want to be one of them anyway. Now, if you have already committed some oopsies, there is still hope. If you commit yourself to start again in wisdom and prudence, you will find yourself achieving the kind of life you want. And you will attract the kind of men that you want to attract. A high-quality man is looking for 4 specific things, which I will gladly tell you to make your life that much easier. Quality men worth settling down with want women who are intelligent, attractive, kind, and chaste. Now, I've made other videos about this, but the short of it is that you don't need to be a genius, model, Mother Teresa all wrapped up in one. No. Be smart enough and aware enough about the world to carry a good conversation. You don't have to be drop-dead gorgeous to keep a guy's attention either. Just take care of your health and body. Most men aren't looking for model anyway. They just aren't as shallow as you think they are. Which brings me to the third quality. Kindness. Guys just want a woman who's nice to them. Like this isn't rocket science. And yes, being chaste matters to quality men because it's indicative of values and character. And there's no nicer way for me to say it. And quite honestly, you should expect the same list from your future guy if you are this list. The short of all this is that you obtain the kind of life you want by having certain morals and a certain character. Perhaps you want to rage against that, but if you don't believe me, stop a moment and be honest with yourself. Those angry women who tell you to rage against whatever, are they happy? Chances are, not even slightly. And I'll tell you a secret. Most women don't want other women to be happy because they aren't happy. You'll see this when one girl in a friend group has a boyfriend and all the other ones are single. And then they try to make that girl break up with her boyfriend. They don't want her in a relationship because they're not in a relationship. They aren't happy. And older women don't want to be slapped in the face with the reality that they messed up. And it was because they were self-indulgent. It was due to the lack of fundamentally sound morality. Darlings, happiness is not found in gathering things, accolades, partners, money. It's found in gratitude and goodness. It's found in integrity. Integrity is what paves the way for personal success. It's what attracts the right mate, the right friends, the right networking. Integrity will be your comfort when you suffer at the hands of character assassination by fools. The more you become a person filled with integrity, the more the fortitude of your character will comfort you. You will see the world much more clearly. When someone slams you for not having sex with someone else, you won't care. When someone tears you down for not believing the same way as them, you'll see right through it. And you'll see how unhappy they are. And remember, you don't want to be like them. If you hold true to morality and integrity, your life will fall together. I promise you. I grew up bullied and lonely. I could have loosened the grip on my morals in order to be liked by others, but I didn't. And guess what? After fighting past the temptations of the world, after fighting myself and my relationships to be the kind of woman I wanted to be, I was rewarded with my life. It's far more difficult now for teenage girls than it's ever been. You're told that it's easy to be a woman, and your humanity is a costume that can be simply worn. Teenage girls have less mentally stable adults in their life than ever. You are not being pointed in the direction of happiness that is gained from integrity. But I'm asking you to be tough. Fight for yourself. Fight for your future. And you'll be okay. It gets better. But only if you choose the right paths and drive down them. I'm Regina Lux with Veritas on the Rocks. Now, girls, ignite the truth and boldly go. I'm proud of you.